Hello everyone, it's Sandra here. You'll probably hear some hummingbirds clicking and humming in the background. You're looking at the compost thermometer into Gilligan and you'll see the temperature. Well, it's probably easier to read the Fahrenheit, about 66 degrees Fahrenheit, 66, 67, so that's about 19 degrees Celsius. I had it coasting at about 83 degrees Fahrenheit or about 28 degrees Celsius for weeks because of food that I put in it. The compost action of Gilligan is what I rely on to keep this material productive through the winter. It's a beautiful day today, but it's by no means 67 degrees. I'll put the temperature on the screen and let's open the lid and see how he's doing. Okay, let me just lift the lid here. So again, I just keep a bungee on it in case there was a big gust of wind. Lots of condensation on this lid. No sign of worms on the lid, but I see some condensation on the cardboard, which is what I want. I'm looking for worms as I'm flipping through this. There's been some changes since the last time you were in Gilligan. So I'm down to the burlap mats. You see the mold where the pumpkin is. My goodness, I can see a lot of mold around that pumpkin. And I've put some more egg cartons in Gilligan because this year it's all about egg cartons. So let's just take a look-see. Raw pumpkin is going to take a lot longer to attract worm interest. So even though these faces are yucky and moldy, they may or may not have worms crawling on them. Not yet. Oh, yeah, there's worms right there. Yeah. So I'm breaking up the party. Sorry, Gilligan. So I'll just move that pumpkin to the side, and I probably should, while I'm at it, move this half-eaten or mostly eaten mat to the side as well. So I put a whole bunch of stack of egg cartons in here with some food in it earlier, and the compost thermometer goes underneath this, but it is finished doing its cycle and there's no more heat coming from this foodstuffs. That probably means the worms are into it. If I could, yeah, there's a worm. There's worms right there on the egg carton. Right there on the egg carton. There's another one right next door. So some of Gilligan's beautiful worms right there, a little baby. So they're into this egg carton material all through the layers of the egg carton, which is what we want. All right, so today's feeding is more pumpkin, but before I just dump more greens on top of all of this, green material, there are shredded leaves in the area, but most of this is still previous feedings. So I guess what I can do is I can bring up, oh, that's more pumpkin. I can bring up some of these dry shredded leaves that are around the edges. To create nice toasty conditions for Gilligan this winter, I need to bring in some nice living material from around the edges. These leaves have castings on them. They may very well have worms on them. And so the castings in these inoculated leaves is one part of what's necessary to heat up and have like a compost or fermentation happening in the bin. The second ingredient is carbon itself in the form of these leaves, but I'm also going to be adding some additional leaves. So that's a second component of the compost cycle. The third and vital one, oh, and here's one of our worms showing that they are well inoculated, is the green material. And if it's pureed, increases the surface area, is going to heat up faster and create nice conditions for Gilligan this winter. All right, so I push up these dry leaves. I see lots of worms actually on what I thought was totally dry leaves, but they are attracting a lot of interest. So I'll just get some of these dry leaves from around the edges. And then I'm going to give Gilligan some more carbon right on the top. Get his hump back. Sounds like a whale. I've got this tub. I thought it'd be easier to pick up than the bucket. Not sure about that. Over it goes. No handle on it to pick up, but it wasn't as heavy as the bucket. So now giving Gilligan my shredded leaves. I put this empty-ish tub on our patio to collect more rainwater. We actually haven't had rain since our snowfall that we had, an unusual inch of snow. But so this is all melted snow or a little bit of rain that we got. And so that's great. So that's pleasantly damp. It's not wringing your hands damp. And the next thing I'm going to do is pumpkin again. We are working our way through 40 pumpkins, and I just have to shout out and thank so much Jason from Clive's Conundrums Garden. Not only did he come over and relieve us of some of our pumpkins, but he brought us some horse manure and some coffee grounds, a lot. So thank you so much. So this is my pureed pumpkin. Peggy Hebling from Peggy Hebling's Garden What You've Got recommended I puree the pumpkin rather than freeze it in chunks, and she was right. It takes up a lot less space in my freezer because we have so many pumpkins to use. I'll put a picture up on the screen of how many pumpkins we got with the first round of donations, and we actually got even more than that. And so this is now pureed. The pulverized eggshell is in it as well. So on it goes. Oh, there we go. Gilligan, you won't know what hit you. I will rinse that off. What I do with dirty containers like this, either I can swish a leaf around in there and put it in Gilligan, or I just use the hose and I rinse it off into our wood chip mulch that's around our plants, because there's worms in them too. Lots of worms in our wood chips around our garden. All right, so these leaves get some pumpkin on top, and I'm just going to protect that damp pumpkin from the hemp mat a little bit by putting a few more handfuls of the shredded dry leaves now right on top, so that it's not quite as sticky mess going on the hemp mat, although probably would just make the worms, pardon me, dusty, make the worms want to eat the hemp mat even more. So there's their old ratty hemp mat. Here's their new hemp mat, newish, new to them, and has a bit of a humpback, probably not as large as it was before. Temperature actually dropped a little bit when I opened that up. It's now reading at 64, so that's probably gone down to like 17 degrees Celsius. And so the lid is open, so that might have been a contributing factor. So I'm actually going to close this up, help the thing equalize the moisture, and let the worms explore their new home. And I'm going to check back and at the end of the video give you an update on how high the temperature goes and how long it took before it heated up. So stay tuned. Temperature has come up to, it's approaching 80 degrees Fahrenheit now. Let me just zoom in on the dial for you. So that's a significant increase in just 24 hours. There's no other reason for the temperature to be coming up except for compost action. So I'll check again tomorrow and let you know how high it goes. All right. Okay, it's day 2, and you see the temperature in Gilligan has come down. It's now sitting at about 20 degrees Celsius. Looks like about 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So checking in on the compost action on Gilligan. This is day 3. We're back up. We're now at about 25 degrees Celsius, about 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Just FYI, I have not touched this system. I haven't been doing my usual opening the lid every day. You can see there's a considerable gap for air. I'm not worried about airflow in this system, but I did want to show you the compost cycles that mass food quantities can go through in an outdoor bin undisturbed. Okay, here's a check-in on Gilligan. Temperature at about 21 degrees Celsius, 70 degrees Fahrenheit. I think I will open the bin today and take a look. So stay tuned for that in a new video. Thanks for watching this compost cycle in my turtle worm bin, everyone. Bye for now.